On this week's show, the successful habits of a property investor.
In the news, war has been declared on buy-to-let landlords, giving renters the option to buy.
And we're going to be answering all your property-related questions. Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends. Hi, I'm Russell Leeds.
I'm Alistair Cunningham.
And welcome to this week's Property Investors Podcast. We're going to be looking at the successful habits of a property investor and also pretty crazy news.
Yeah, war. War has been declared.
Wow.
So we'll be discussing that.
It's like intense.
I know it is.
Intense. So how are you, my friend? You had a good week?
I'm phenomenal. I'm really good.
I've
lost my voice. My voice is really a bit, it's on recovery at the minute, so it's good. Just come back from
not great for a podcast, is it?
No, but it's on its way back. It's just
not totally lost. It's not like you're there like, that'll probably be a much better show. I reckon. Can you imagine? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it would. Yeah,
that would be awesome. I wouldn't have to cut over you then. I could just keep talking. It wouldn't be a problem at all.
At least we'll keep two people happy.
But you went to Germany, didn't you?
I've just got back from Germany. I was on I was on a personal development sort of speaking course in Germany for 6 days. So that was phenomenal. Like, it was absolutely phenomenal.
Where in Germany was it?
Frankfurt.
And what facts did you tell me about Frankfurt when you got back?
That it's got a lot of history.
No.
A lot of heritage.
What was the fact you told me about Frankfurt? Did you film him telling me? Oh, that's a shame. What was the fact that you told me? It's because you could have sliced it in right now. It would have been awesome, but don't worry. What was the fact?
Okay. It's got one of the most successful and largest European airports.
That was not the fact you told me about Frankfurt, but whatever. We'll move on. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be looking today at the successful habits of a property investor, and it's what made me sort of think of this actually is interesting. Samuel posted on the Facebook group the other day, what's the difference between a winner and a loser? Did you see that post?
Yeah.
And I commented, and I said they have different habits.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and I think that is the primary difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is they've got different habits.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the thing is that most people that want to be a property investor, obviously education is really, really important. You need to know what you're doing, right? Yeah. But even more important than education, or at least as important as education, is actually doing it.
Yeah.
There's no point being fully educated, knowing exactly what you're going to do if you're not going to go and do it. Would you?
I completely agree. Listen, right, I'm all for educating. I'm all for reading. I'm all for doing all that sort of stuff. But all you end up being is a stuffed monkey. So you need to get out there and actually implement. And one of the biggest failures I see in people that want to be successful is failure to take action. It's failure to implement, and it's bad habits they've got into. Now what happens is they go to a course or they read a book and they're motivated for a couple of days. Then they just fall back into their bad habits. They don't stick to them good habits that they learn on these personal development courses, or they learn at the crash course, or they learn at DFA. They don't stick to them. And then they start, the worst thing I see people when they're unsuccessful is they then blame others. They blame other people. They blame the course. They blame the surroundings. They blame other people. They blame the estate agent. But one of the most successful things I think anybody can do to be successful is take responsibility. Be responsible for your business. Mind your own business.
Yeah.
And take responsibility. So I think the first good habit that you guys need to be writing down is take responsibility for yourself. It's nobody else's fault that you're unsuccessful. If you're unsuccessful, it's your fault. I genuinely believe that.
My fault?
Not your fault. Not you.
Everybody.
But
yeah.
No, if you're unsuccessful and you're just looking to blame somebody, then you'll never be successful. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. It is that simple.
Bang on. So what we kind of wanted to talk about today was, first of all, we thought we'd share some of our good habits that have worked for us. But more importantly than that is you probably know you probably know the stuff that you need to be doing in order to be successful. Yeah. So we're going to talk about how you actually do that. It's the same as, everyone knows in order to get fit, they need to go to the gym. Right? And then some people set that as a new habit, especially in January. New Year's resolution, new me. And then for the first 2 weeks of January, or the first week maybe, it's like, we're at the gym. And then what happens is, by the end of January, no one goes anymore.
It's because they've fallen back into their bad habits.
Yeah. So how do you create... How do you get rid of a bad habit and replace it with a good habit? Well, first of all, I'd say that is a very good place to start, is by replacing habits. So finding something that you do. So let's say, for example, you've got a bad habit of every time you get home from work, you just slump in front of the TV and watch the TV. Yeah. So rather than just saying, I'm not going to watch TV, rather than focusing on that, you want to think about, okay, so what can I do instead? And then that can become my new good habit. Yeah. And I always find, they say, don't they, what you focus on expands. And if you're focusing on the negative of the it's much better to focus on the positive. Yeah. It's much focus on taking the action rather than the non-taking of action. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah. So I found the same with anything. So if you're wanting to lose weight, focus on the foods that you can eat, not the foods you can't eat.
I'm reading The Miracle Morning. I'm not reading, I'm listening to it. And I'm at the point at the minute where it talks about getting out of bed early. And it's saying that if you keep telling your body you need 10 hours a night or 6 hours or 8 hours a night, and then you go to bed at midnight knowing you've got to get up at 6, you're telling your body that you're going to be tired. You're like, oh, I'm so exhausted, I'm going to be exhausted. But if you go to body saying, I can't wait to wake up because 6 hours is enough, you wake up with a different attitude and a different energy. So it's about habits. I think it's about habits, and I think also it's really important. On this course I've just come back from, they spend a lot of time talking about code of honor. And I think everyone should have a code of honor for themselves with regards to everything in their life. So just a set of rules that you stick to. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to be somewhere, be there. If you say you're going to start that new diet, start that new diet. If you say you're going to learn to do property investing, learn to do property investing. Yeah. And just have a set of rules that you stick to. And it's very clear to have a really good understanding of them rules. So don't just say, I'm going to sort of learn a new skill. What are you going to learn and how are you going to implement it? And the Code of Honor is a fantastic thing. And I'm actually writing Code of Honors now, because I've always had Code of Honors, but they've been in my head. Now what I think I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually write them and document it and frame it so that it's there with very clear understandings. That's good. So I can get myself back into good habits.
That's really good. So first thing I want to talk about is the stages of habits, because why is it that we're so pumped, so excited to go to the gym or whatever it is for first, and then it turns into, before we create it as a habit, it turns to crap, right? Yeah. So experts tell us that it takes about 21 days to create a new habit. Okay. 21 days doing something, bang. Listen, it's going to be different for everyone. Depends on the habit. So it's not going to be it's not going to be an exact science. So I like to work off a little bit longer, and I think in Miracle Morning he says similar. It's like more like 30 days, which is why I did Miracle Morning for 30 days. It's like, okay, cool, because then that way I know I'm sort of safe. I'm well over my 21. And for me, I found there's 4 stages to a new habit, right? And I've used FATE to help you remember it. So FATE, FATE. So the first stage is fun. When you first start doing it, you're pumped about it, you're excited, you're thinking about the change, you're like, yeah, this is awesome. It's really fun. Whether that be going to the gym, whether it be getting up really early, whether it be listening to new audiobooks, it's fun, right? But soon, that fun, the F, turns into the A, which is agony, right? So it's gone from like, oh, this is really fun, to this is horrible. Even if it's something small, you detest and you hate doing it. Yeah. So like one of my habits now, every time I'm traveling, whether I'm on the train, whether I'm walking, pretty much depends if I'm on my own, pretty much. But if I'm walking, traveling on the train, driving a car, occasionally.
6 months.
Whatever it is I'm doing, I always listen to audiobooks. Yeah. Right, but not just like stories, not fiction, or factual
PD stuff,
helping personal development, business development, sales, whatever it is. So it's going to help me grow, and I've got in the habit of wanting to grow and improve myself all the time as a person, which I think is a great habit.
Yeah.
Right, but it took me a while of doing that
to get into
it. It took me a while, but I didn't almost intentionally. I kind of slipped into that, which is great. But at first it was like, oh yeah, this is awesome, and then it was like, oh, this is boring, man.
I'm going through.
You just said you're going through the boring stage. It's like, oh, I'm so bored.
I literally just said to Russell before we started filming. I was listening to an audiobook yesterday, driving up to a training course I was running, and it was the most. I had to turn it off because it was so boring. It was putting me to sleep, and I just had to turn it off. So. There's a time and a place for listening to audiobooks. I prefer listening to audiobooks first thing in the morning, or in the morning. In the afternoon, I tend not to. I tend to listen to music.
But what you need to do, though, is you need to get yourself into a situation where, okay, now it might be that you want to listen to. I'm not saying listening to music is wrong, right? I'm not saying that, but let's say every morning you wanted to listen to how long a day?
30 minutes.
30 minutes, right? So you might do 30 minutes a day. Then on day 3 or day 4, you're like, man, I'd so rather sleep. You got your little voice now.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this every day. This is stupid. This is just boring, man. This is and then what happens is you stop doing it.
Yeah.
So you start full of excitement. You go through your agony, boring. If it's exercise, it's certainly agony. Or getting up early is agony.
It's just easier to fall back into your routine, into.
Yeah.
Like you never got anywhere in life easily. So everything in life comes with hard work or hard graft or something. The successful people out there that just lucked into it are few and far between. So if you want something, you're going to have to make a serious change. And I think I'm not sure who it was that said this. I believe it was Henry Ford. He said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So you have to do different things if you want different results. So
I don't think it was Henry Ford, but
it wasn't
a good
quote. It was somebody else. I don't know. Henry Ford said something else, but. I don't know who said it, guys. Who said it? Let me know.
Comment below who said it.
But,
they'll
I want to credit them. I don't like saying phrases about crediting the right people. So let me know who it was. I know I just did that, but whoever said it, that's from you.
Do you know if you want to find out, just say a quote from me, and then say it, and then everyone will be like, no, that wasn't you.
Nah, see, I never take quotes that aren't mine.
He just credits Henry Ford. Right, so you got your fun stage, right, a couple of days. Then you got your agony stage. That lasts about a week.
Okay.
It's agony.
You wrote 10 days then.
I put 10 days because it's not an exact science, like I said. Yeah, 10 days, a week, whatever, right? Then, after agony, it's T, F-A-T, which is it's tough.
Yeah.
Right? It's not agony anymore. You're kind of getting used to it.
So it's like bearable.
It's bearable. Okay. It's like, yeah, this is tough.
It's a bit like when I'm listening to you, like when I'm here on the podcast with you, I find it tough but bearable.
But you know what? Even the podcast is a habit.
It's habit, yeah.
It is, because we've said we're going to do a podcast every week.
Yeah.
Now, the first couple of times we did it, it was like, oh, this is awesome. We meet up. And then you're like, oh, I'm struggling to think of ideas. Do you remember that little phase?
Yeah.
The agony phase.
Yeah.
When I realised I was going to have to work with you every week, and it was just like, oh, this is painful. This is agony. And then after a few of them, it just got tough.
Yeah.
And bearable, it was just tough.
I'm still waiting for the enjoyable stage. I'm still waiting. It's not here yet. And it's been about a year, so...
It depends what the habit is. If the habit's punching yourself in the face, it's never going to be enjoyable, right? You've got to set the right habit. But then the final stage is enjoyable, and you start getting it. We are joking. It is enjoyable.
Of course,
the podcast, right? So there's your steps. F-A-T-E, and what you've got to do is you've got to remember that. See, if you do something for 30 days, it will become a habit, and it will become enjoyable. I know it will, right? Then it gives you the perseverance to get through. Because we're in those agony. The thing is, when you're in the agony stage, this is the sort of thing you're thinking. You're thinking, this just isn't worth it.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't want to be fit that bad.
Do you know? I was going to say weight loss is probably the biggest one that people break, because like everyone, like a personal trainer told me, it's taken me. So I'm in my mid-30s, and it's taken 35 years to get 35? To build.
What? Did you start when you were 3?
You're such... Right, it's taken like a long time to get the body I've got. How can I expect to lose it in 2 weeks? Do you know what I mean? How can I expect to lose loads of weight in 2 weeks? and it becomes when you're at the agony stage, you don't see much weight falling off, and then you go into the tough stage, you're not seeing much weight come off, and then you think, I just can't be bothered with this. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
But it's persistence and persistence and persistence.
Yeah, you want to be fit and healthy in a week. That you want to look.
That's the problem. Everyone wants to be fit and healthy in a week with a six pack or whatever.
Anything worth doing takes.
Of course it does.
Jim Rohn says, doesn't it? It's simple to do. It's also simple.
Easier not to.
It's easier. Yeah, it's easier. It's simple to do. It's simple not to do. So I think it's a case of.
So should we sum it up in like 5 things? What are the 5 good habits to get into for?
5 good habits.
Yeah.
All right. So I would say
number 1.
Number 1 would be reading books and listening to
personal development.
Personal development.
Yeah.
Well, watching Samuel's YouTube videos, watching whatever it might be. The other thing I would say as well is do it every day.
Yeah.
Right. Don't take a day off because it's a Sunday, or take a day off because it's a Saturday. Do it every single day.
I find that bizarre. Right now, just to go off a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
I find that quite bizarre that people say about like taking time, like Sunday's a rest day, Saturday's a like weekend here. Like, do you go home on Friday think, yay, it's the weekend?
No,
I've never had that feeling. I've never had that Friday feeling, so to speak. And true story.
Mind you, we've both got kids, so.
True story.
I go, mate, it's a Monday, it's time for rest.
True story. In our office, we've actually banned the phrase Friday feeling. Nobody's allowed to say that word, Friday feeling. Because it's not. We if you love what you do, then I love work. I love doing what we do. So to me, every day is I'm doing something every day that will develop me and grow me and help me become more and more successful.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good habit to get into.
I do. I think when you pick in a habit, something good, you should pick something that's easy. You can look at it and go, like, I've started new habits. See, the thing is, as well, is we were talking about this the other day. You've got like 4 sort of key areas of your life, right? You've got your business.
Yeah.
You've got your relationships, spiritual, and relationships, friends, family, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And most people have got most successful people have got good habits in maybe 1 or 2 of the areas, yeah? So like we, for example, did I say health?
No, you didn't.
All right, maybe there's 5. So you got health, business, relationships, spirituality.
So there is 4, but you said 2 relationships. You said relationships with your wife.
Oh, right, yeah.
So relationships in general.
Yeah. So for me, health, I've never been really good with health. I'm a little bit overweight.
I know why, because it doesn't make any money.
Well, yeah, probably. So, but now I'm not. I'm doing this stuff on myself in other areas of life where maybe I'm not doing it as well. So business, man, I've cracked it. I've got the habits. I'm doing great. Property investing, lumped into business. I've got it, man. I know what I'm doing. I'm in the right habits. But other areas I'm trying to work on. So I'm doing this stuff. So this is as much for us as it is for you guys.
So number 1 is.
Number 1 is
personal development.
Personal development.
Yep.
Yeah. So watching YouTube videos, and make it easy. 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So easy.
Like this morning, I got the underground to work, whacked my audiobook in, 15-20 minutes, listen to an audiobook just every day. Instead of
I do 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
I do more actually because I do the Miracle Morning as well. But I do 2 hours a day because I've got an hour to work and an hour back from work. Yeah. Plus some of that's walk in and stuff like that.
Cool.
Also, if you can anyway.
So number 1, personal development. Make sure you're always developing yourself. So that's a very good habit to get into. Number 2.
As a property investor.
I think property investor, business in general.
Okay. Number 2, I would say
persistence.
But in what?
So you've got to be consistent and persistent. You cannot give up at the first hurdle. So you've got to consistently be working on your
But what's
business.
your habit?
The habit.
Doing what?
Right. So for instance, as a property investor, you have to consistently be going to your area and meeting and keeping in touch with the people you meet in that area. So if you've got relationships with estate agents, you need to be consistently keeping in touch with them. So don't just ignore them and then every 6 months message them. I would literally be going to see them once a month and just phoning them every week, or your power team in that area, so all your letting agents, estate agents that you're looking to buy deals off, just speak to them on a regular basis. So get out there, get seen, meeting people, and just be consistent with the meeting of people. It's so important because property is people business. You'll get more deals by knowing the right people than you will by looking online, shall we say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you must be consistent with getting out there, and that includes networking and getting to networking events. Like I see so many people where they ask me how I find so many investors, and I'm like, because when I first started in this game, I'll be completely honest, I don't really network now because I'm just far too busy. But when I first started in property,
that's not true.
I still network, but not. Hold on. So I still network a lot. Actually, you're right. It's not true. I still network a lot. I just don't network the way I used to network.
Yeah.
So when you first start, like, you've got all these networking events all up and down the country, like Penn, Pick, whatever. There's loads up and down the country. Just consistently go to them. Be there every month. Make it a habit to go there the second Tuesday every month, 7 p.m. to this hotel, and go to that networking event, because you'll get lots of deals and you'll meet lots of connections. You'll get JV partners. And I say to people that they say, how do you get so many investors? And I'm like, because I network like crazy. And they say, oh yeah, I struggle and things like that. And I say, well, how many do you go to? And I went to that one once, I went to that one once, and I'm like, yeah, but once isn't enough. You have to go there 12 times.
It's the same. It's the exact same. They haven't got in the habit of it. They've gone a couple of times. It's been fun. It gets to the boring stage or the agony stage, and they're like, oh no. It's like, okay, I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna go to this. I'm gonna go to Penn. I'm gonna go to one a week for a year.
I'll tell you a good thing to do to help with that habit is book and pay for the whole year up front, because then you've paid for it. You're committed.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Do it that way. Number 3.
So number 3
is, every single morning when you wake up, instead of scrolling through social media, Instagram, Facebook, scroll through Rightmove. Look at Rightmove, look for your property criteria in your area, and actually look at properties instead of looking at what your neighbour's cat was doing last night. It is so much more beneficial for you, and it's going to get you a lot further than looking at Instagram. Simple as that. Number 4.
I mean, we could do loads. I mean,
number 4. I know what number 4 is.
Go on.
Number 4 is actually book viewings and go and see the properties. Because a lot of people I know, they look through Rightmove and online forever. They build lovely spreadsheets and they've got all these properties, but they never actually go and view them. Now, I've got many deals by actually going to view them, speaking to the agent, and I've got no money down deals because of it. So, number 3 is get off social media and actually look at Rightmove and other places online and find the deals. Number 4 is get your ass out of bed and get out there and start looking at these deals. And a very big habit.
Link to number 4, right? Going and viewing the deals is be on time.
I was just going to say, be on time, because
that's a habit.
Yeah.
Being on have you noticed people that are on time are always on time?
Yeah.
And the people are 5 minutes late are always 5 minutes late. And people that just don't, and linked to being on time, there's loads we could go at, but linked to being on time is do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
That is also
this comes
a
back
habit.
to what I said about earlier, code of honour. One of our code of honours is
do what you say.
Yeah.
Say what you mean.
Yeah.
And be as you seem.
Absolutely. That's why you should always turn up time with estate agents, because if you say you're going to be there on time, be there on time.
It's funny because I think he talked about it on Miracle Morning. I'm not sure, but he said like when you hit the snooze button.
Yeah, I'm there now.
You're there now.
I was listening to that this morning.
So when you say to yourself, I am going to get up at 5:55.
Yeah.
Right? Alarm goes up 5:55. You're like, forget that. Snooze. What you're doing, right, it's a small thing. It's a little thing. But you're setting the habit of, I say I'm going to do something, and then when I actually don't want to do it, I don't.
You just break your rules.
Yeah, I say I'm going to do it, but I don't. I hit the snooze. Even though I say I was going to get... Now, if you planned on getting up at 6, so set your alarm at 5:55, so you could hit the snooze, have 5 minutes, and then get up at 6, that's fine. But if you say to yourself, I'm going to get up at 5:55, and then you hit the snooze, you're creating a habit of not doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
And that is a terrible habit to have.
It is, because then it relates throughout all of your life.
Yeah.
It's
the small thing. It's the small... If you start with the small things, go on.
Do you know what it's like at the crash course? We have rules that if you come back after a break, you're not normally allowed into the venue, because it's not fair to the people that have made the effort to get back on time. And we all say this, it's always the same people that are coming back on late. Every break they come back late, and then they kick off and they moan. And the thing is, that's how they are in real life. They're always late. So just be on time. And that leads us on to number 5.
Can I add one? Can I add one in? So can we have 6?
Yeah, excuse me.
Because this...
So 5, what was number 5 for us?
Number 5 is bring energy.
Absolutely.
Person with the most energy wins. And if you haven't got that, one of the ways to build energy is to exercise. So your habit might be, okay, well, I'm going to exercise every day so that I can come with energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think energy is so important. When you go into any business meeting, who are you going Who are you going to deal with? The person that's a bit more cheery, a bit more happy, a bit more high energy, or the person that's sat there being a bit moody? Yeah. We're not going to deal with the moody person, are we? Never going to deal with them.
And this last one, number 6. This is my most valuable habit.
Yep.
Right. And this habit will add, on average, 11 years to your life.
Wow.
And make you happier.
Okay.
And feel better throughout your life as well. It's being positive.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Massively agree with that.
And it is a habit.
Yeah.
It is. Being positive
it's a
is
choice.
a habit.
It's a choice, isn't it? It's a choice. You can choose to be negative or positive. I completely agree with that because I used to be quite negative about everything.
And I know some people that do things like they wear like I want to add a 7 as well. I want to add a 7. Okay. It's kind of linked, so we'll include it as this. But be grateful.
Yeah.
Being grateful. Oh my days. Such a difference to your life being grateful. But what they do is they wear like a rubber band around their wrist, and every time they just look negative, they have to ping themselves really hard.
As possible. Yeah, pop it out, bang.
Yeah, and it's like, and then it relates the negativity with that pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, being positive. I mean, if there's one takeaway, if one habit that you can have to improve your life, your business, property investing,
I'm going to add another
positivity. And go on, you had can I finish my positivity thing first?
Yeah, you finish positivity.
Right. So one of the ways to do that is to get negativity out of your life. So I don't watch the news. The news is negative. Anything that's negative, any films that are negative, anything like that, it disgusts me. I'm like, ugh. I don't want to see it, don't want to know about it. So anything that's negative, get it out your life. People are attracted to negativity. Yeah. People are like, it's like, a bit of negativity, a bit of gossip. I hate it. Get it out of your life. Focus on positivity. And I say about adding years to your life, scientific fact, positive people live on average 11 years longer than
negative people.
Optimists live longer than pessimists.
Bang on. And that leads us to our final takeaway from today, which I am going to say, don't dwell on the past. So if something's gone wrong in your life, in the property business, or somebody screwed you over, or a deal fell through, or an agent didn't show up, or something's just happened that's been a bit of a downer, forget about it, move on. Don't dwell on it for days and say, I'm not going to do that because this person done that. That's their problem, not your problem. Don't make it your problem. And I can't remember who it was that said this.
Henry Ford?
Henry Ford. No. Henry Ford? I watched it recently on a video on Facebook, and it was a guy said, look, if you're walking down the street and somebody's rude to you for like 10 seconds, are you going to let that 10 seconds of somebody being rude to you ruin your mood for the whole day? The answer should be no, because that's that person that was rude to you's fault. It's not your fault, and it's their problem. So don't make it their problem. So don't dwell on any failures, any bad luck, or anything that goes wrong in your property business. Pick yourself up, brush yourself off, move on, suck it up, and get on with it. Just don't dwell on it.
Do you get people being rude to you in general life?
No, because I don't accept it.
Just I don't accept it. Doesn't mean
I
don't
see
rude.
It as being rude. I just see them as ignorant, and I just move on. I don't actually accept it because
when does it happen?
So, for instance, this morning getting on the train was packed, and I was stood right at the very door, and there was no one else getting on this door, and some dude come up to me and tried to push me out the way, and he literally just went like that, and I went, do you mind? And he went, well, I need to get on the train. I said, I don't give a shit. You're not moving me out the way, and that's it. I moved on. Simple as that. I don't care. He's not gonna affect me. I think it's just he's been an ignorant person.
Could you not just move out of his way?
I couldn't go anywhere.
So why did he push? When he pushed you, what happened?
He was trying to make me move. I don't know. He was trying to push everyone because he didn't want to be late for work or whatever. And he just tried to push everyone. And I'm like, do you mind?
I don't really get.
And then he had a bit of a go at me. And I'm like, oh, dude, just jog on, man. Get the next train. And as the door was shut, I went, see ya.
Yeah,
just move on, man.
Like Alistair's got it really cracked. I don't really have that. The only time I have people be rude to me is when I'm driving.
Well, I've been in your car when you're driving, so I understand why they're being rude to you.
That's the only time.
Not recently, though, obviously. But
no, not recently. That's the only time. I mean, sometimes, like, you know, when they flip you the V or whatever. Sometimes people drive past me and they put their middle finger at me and they leave it out the window as they're driving away, and I'm like, what did I do? Although one guy was impressed. I overtook him.
Okay.
And he was so impressed. He started clapping
Did he?
Because of my like impressive overtaking.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That is good.
How's your driving going recently? I mean, obviously you're such a good driver. I've heard.
I had a little go in your Porsche around the car park.
You did, yeah, because you can't use it on a public road, can you?
I can't use it on a public road.
No.
Well, I wouldn't want to use it on a public road right now because it's not a 911. So
right, on that bombshell, let's move on.
It's time for this. So, in the news this week, John McDonnell is to declare war on buy-to-let landlords by giving tenants the chance to purchase their property at a discounted price.
What a tool. Complete and utter tool, isn't he?
Labour could give private tenants the right to buy, says John McDonnell. The right to buy scheme would see private tenants given the right to forcibly buy their home at a discounted price by the government.
Do you know what an utter tool? Why would he do that? I'll tell you why he'd do that. Votes. That's the only reason they're doing it.
Votes?
Yeah, votes. It's the only reason. They're trying to get votes.
I'm like thinking, is this going to be like, this is like lease options? This is going to be amazing.
Nah, I don't think that. I don't think that at all. Why would?
I wonder how it works. I mean, all it will do.
Should we actually read the article first?
Yeah, go on then. So Labour could give tenants.
So people can see it. Listen to it.
Labour could give tenants who rent private homes the right to buy them at a cut price rate, the Shadow Chancellor has revealed. John McDonnell outlined the party's plans to tackle the burgeoning buy-to-let market in a bombshell interview last night. The dramatic policy is designed to clamp down on middle-class families who buy a second property as a nest egg for their retirement. Yeah, because like, how terrible can you believe that?
This just showed you how the government do not want you to be successful and do not want successful rich people.
The suggestion from the Shadow Chancellor applying Margaret Thatcher's iconic right for council tenants to buy their homes to those who rent properties from millions of private landlords offers a chilling insight into the consequences of a Labour victory in any snap election. And in a separate development, a report found Mr. McDonnell is planning to confiscate around 300 billion of company shares and hand them to workers in one of the biggest state raids on the private sector to take place in Western democracy.
Again, what an utter tool.
Yeah, this is like... Now, the new right to buy scheme will see private tenants getting the right to force to buy their homes, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So that's basically the crux of the article. The problem is... Right, the problem is, I'm not worried about it personally because I'll just buy. I mean, for example, HMOs. How is that going to work? Well, they're going to buy their room.
Yeah.
Right. So what? All it's doing,
mate, that will never come in. It will never come in. It will never ever happen. Never happen because there's too many people. There's too many politicians that have many properties. It will never ever get passed.
The thing is, if it does get passed, again, I wouldn't be too bothered because what would happen is, okay, they would buy my buy-to-lets, but still going to buy them off me, so I'm still going to get the money for them
at a discounted price. So
yeah, well, let's see what that is.
When you go back to council right to buy, you could get up to 40% discount.
Well, we'll see. But from a property investor's point of view, it basically just means we'd have to do things like service accommodation, which we do anyway.
Yep.
HMOs, which we do anyway. Commercial, which we do anyway. It's I don't really. That's not. What's sad about it is the people that it won't affect us.
No, it won't affect us.
But it is gonna because we'll just there's ways I can straight away see loads of ways around it. It might be a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
But it's just such. I mean, the government, the education system, everything is set up for everyone. Everything is designed for people to be very average.
Yeah. I agree with you.
It's designed for us to.
And who's this going to impact the most if it comes in? It's
going to impact people who've worked hard, got a decent job, managed to buy themselves a second home,
and instead of squandering their money, instead of going on holidays, and instead of buying liabilities, they went out and they invested their money into an asset. And this knobhead here is trying to take it off you by giving it to a tenant who can get the opportunity to buy it at a discounted price.
But what we need to
hopefully
do is
Labour never get in.
With our training and stuff, we need to show people how to do it so that this sort of crap isn't going to affect them, and show that what they can't.
Yeah.
We need to
but the everyday person, the everyday. Like let's just say your every like parents or whatever that are not perhaps into investing, but they've just invested the little bit of money that they've saved up or whatever wisely, they're going to be the ones that not fault, but they're going to be the ones that lose out here because they're not going to be able to fight it. They're not going to be able to know what to do with it. So we have to spread the word about education and try and get them there.
We're interested to be screaming from the rooftops how you can get around it. So, I mean, if it comes in, I don't know if it will, but if it comes in, then yeah, we need to be finding the loopholes and sharing them with you guys about how to get around it because it is going to affect people. But the standard buy-to-let landlord is getting attacked and attacked.
Constant,
and
isn't
attacked. It's just like
from every angle they're getting hit by a baseball bat.
It's just a shame, but there you go. Right, it's now time for this. Okay, so it's time for your questions. So here we go. First one. First of all, thank you, David Aguirre, just for thanking us. Not a question, but thank you for the advice and courage you give us. Cheers, bro. We appreciate it.
We do appreciate that.
Dave William, do you think it's a good time to do a rent-to-rent in Doncaster with Article 4 coming into force from October this year? I'm assuming, as you're mentioning Article 4, that you're talking about a rent to HMO.
Yeah, rent-to-rent HMO.
So yes, I'd say it was.
As long as you can get if it needs a license, so you've not said if it's 4-bed, 5-bed. So if it needs a license or it needs converting, and Article 4 is coming in, you're going to need permissions from the authorities. So. Just make sure that if you do it, it's complete and up and running before Article 4 is enforced. If you've got to do any conversion, for instance, so just make sure that happens, and speak to your local HMO officer and get their advice on the legalities of it.
Cool. Next question from Maximilian Hanson Brooks: can you find and sell deals before you become compliant?
Legally, no. You can't.
Well, yeah, you can. It's just illegal.
You can, yeah, but it's just.
It's like saying, can you have a business and not pay taxes? Yeah,
you can. Yeah, you can do whatever you choose.
But if you get caught, you'll get in trouble.
Yeah, I'm not gonna condone it. Listen, it's your business. You got to do what you got to do. I wouldn't advise it, and I wouldn't say yes, do it. But the legal answer is you have to be compliant to introduce anybody to a property, a real estate investment.
Cool. Okay. Last one. Hi guys, love the podcast. Keep up the great work, Alistair.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. Keep up the great work,
Alistair.
Alistair, when
No. Hey guys, love the podcast. Keep up the great work, Alistair.
No, that's not what it is. He's got. If you would see it, there's a thumb, like a stop. It's hey guys, love the podcast. Keep up the great work. Alistair, when selling deals onto investors, because he knows you're a deal sourcer.
Yes, I know.
Is there VAT on top of the source? Well, it's a business, so if your business is VAT registered, yes. If your business is not VAT registered, no.
Yeah, it depends on your business. Our business is VAT registered, so all our sourcing fees are plus VAT. And then also, do you then have to pay income tax on top of that? Yeah, you pay income tax or you pay corporation tax on the business because we're a limited company, so we have accountants deal with all of that. So yeah, the answer to that.
That was a quick one. Should we do one more?
Yes.
Hi guys, love the show and think you guys are an awesome crack.
Yeah.
I've been to the Crash Course and the DFE in June, awesome man, and secured a rent to SA deal in Birmingham. I have a question about minimum night stays and daily rates. How do you decide what to set your rates, minimum night stays at? What pricing strategy should you begin with? My apartment is a 1-bedroom with very high specs and a B1 postcode. Any advice will be massively appreciated. Thank you in advance.
You need to get an understanding of what your competitors are charging and how you're different to your competitors. So if you're just going to take a property and it's a little bit, you say it's to a very high standard, I believe you said that. If you're going to just take a property and it's to a good standard, what sets you out from the competition? Why would people pay more for your apartment than somewhere else? So, for instance, when I'm looking at staying away, I'm not a cheapskate. I don't go for the cheapest place. So I wouldn't, when I'm filtering on Booking.com or wherever I'm looking, I don't do the automatic cheapest first. And I know so many people do that. I look for what stands out. I look for what's nice. I look for what's got the best facilities. What is got facilities I want, i.e. parking. Can I park my car there? Can I pick the keys up? If I'm staying in an SA, can I pick the keys up at the premises? Things like that. So you just need to do some market research, dude. Find out what else is getting charged for around there. And
then another tip would be to go through a channel manager because they'll advise you on that as well. Minimum night stays and stuff. But quite a lot of people do 2-night minimum stays.
Yeah.
But just
especially at weekends.
Yeah, it just saves you on the cleaning costs and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. I hope that answered your question to a degree.
Got time for one more?
Abram. No. So we will see you next week on Saturday at 7 p.m. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. See you soon.
Cheers, guys. Bye bye.